One take, one take. This is NBA One Take featuring yours truly, Pretty Boy Lakers. This is NBA One Take for your head. NBA One Take for your brain. Coming to you live from my home. This is NBA One Take, May 15th, 2025. Game 5 between the New York Knicks versus the Boston Celtics in Boston. And before we know, Jason Tatum is out. He had successful Achilles surgery, and he's going to be out most likely the next season as well. I think Boston was going into a different game plan. And I think their game plan was more ball movement and try to hit more open shots, less one-on-one situations, and using using a lot of ISO matchups to generate offense. And I think they saw uh, spots where they could be able to officially score, and they did. And the Knicks got smashed, 127, 102. You got guys like Luke Cornett stepped up. Derek White is just been phenomenal. Possibly on Boston side, the MVP of their series. He had 34. Jalen Brown, 26, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, doing everything he needed to do for his team. And Peyton Pritchard, again with a great night, had 17 off the bench. Listen, Boston Celtics are looking feels that they can win this series. That's with the rest of the guys. Now, without Tatum, you're clearly not a championship team, but you still have that DNA with the other guys that's involved and able to do something. And that's what they did. Jalen Brunson fouled out, was in foul trouble. De'Anthony Finch with 22 points. Karl Anthony Towns, 19 and 8. Not a good night for him. Josh Hart was only one you could say had a good night with 24 points. OG had a bad night. He had 6, and Mikal Bridges had 9. You're not getting anything off the bench with Deuce McBride and these guys. Offensively, Mitchell Robinson stacked up a little bit defensively, but at times he was being attacked as well on the perimeter. But so you have that. Now, game 6 is going to be back in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks should be more pumped, energized for that. People are saying this is just a letdown. They just want to close it out at the Garden. No team really thinks that way unless the game is put away. The game is out of reach in the game 5 situation. So now, what do you think the Celtics? They don't want their season to be over. They're gonna put everything they have on the table. Everything, every situation. Kristaps Porzingis is a guy. I think, yeah, they saw he's sick. Maybe this might be his game to come to the Garden where he played, where they anointed him as a franchise player at one point, and he be the guy that possibly be the person that could screech out the win. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I feel like the Knicks is gonna win. I thought they was gonna win in most likely 5. That's after the Tatum injury. Now I'm more almost leaning towards the side of 7 games. Knicks winning in 7. I wouldn't be all that surprised if even the Celtics come back to win Game 7 and then actually go up against the Pacers. It all seems like the Pacers is going to be going into the NBA Finals regardless who comes out of the Knicks and Celtics right now. It's got a lot of answers to be questioned, but we know we're waiting for this Game 6. This is going to be a real huge thing at the Garden, the biggest game of the season for the Knicks, possibly one of the biggest games um, the franchise has had since the '99 season. Yeah, yeah. Okay. And the next game is Game Five between the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors put up a good fight, but no, um, it was over. At one point, they was getting smashed. Steph Curry was just on the bench, relishing the beating that his team was enduring. Um, it just wasn't there. I think Draymond Green even just had a look on his face. We can't do it. We just we it was too much. Ant Man had 22 and 12 assists doing playmaking duty. Julius Randle was on it next with 29. Rudy Gobert 17 and 8 playing great defense. Um, catching lobs over the top on them. Mike Conley finally had a good offensive game, 16 points, 8 assists. And the Warriors is out. They out. Brandon Podziemski, 28. Jimmy Butler, 17. Looking hobbled out there. Jonathan Kuminga, 26. You're not getting anything from anyone. And without Steph, you guys are not that strong of a playoff team. So Minnesota will be going to their conference final the second time, and man, where they came from at one point, I said the last thing, being 500 to be in this spot again. And Anthony Edwards said he will be back next year. That's what he said at the press conference when they lost to Dallas Mavericks. But I don't think he's tired or anything else like that. Now, I think he's more prepared. Team is more prepared. And Coach Finch is on the bench, not an assistant where Coach Finch was couldn't even really coach um, because of the torn ACL he sustained. All right, Golden State Warriors most likely is going to run it back with their core squad, Steph, Dre, and Jimmy Butler, and they're going to have Brandon Podziemski. I think he's not up for an extension, but Kuminga is, and Jonathan Kuminga will not be on the team next year. The lack of minutes that he's had um, was almost deterrent. It was because of we knew Jimmy Butler was going to be there, so they purposely decreased the minutes after he rejected the contract extension. He wants 35 a year. Their ceiling was at 30 or 28, and they offered to even shorten the uh, give him shorten the contract with a little more incentives, but he can get out of it and possibly get more money later. And he didn't want that. He wants a long-term deal at 35. And the Golden State Warriors wasn't in a position to do that. Not for him. Um, when some of the stats are showing that Kuminga, along with Steph Curry, plus minus is not working. He's putting up decent stats in certain things, but when they're both on the court together, it seems like it's not working, and they're almost looking at, okay, look at his stats, and his stats are saying that he's on a trajectory of earning this money, but they're looking at the chemistry of him and Steph Curry on the court, Is it translating to more of a plus or is a minus? Actually, it's a minus. So that's another reason. I didn't say it. I looked it up after someone made a suggestion on it, and I said, "Oh, whoa, this is something." Your best player and possibly one of your best young players on your team, your best young player on the team, it's not meshing. And Steph wants to win a championship, and they're invested in a championship. So in doing so, you couldn't move him. You couldn't find a trade partner or anything to include him because he does have significant value. And now, what that leaves for the Warriors next season, playoff team, playoff team. I don't want to hear about Giannis and other things and stuff like that. That's I'll speak on that. I'll speak on that when it's more was more credible. Because right now it's only it's where's Giannis? I saw something with Giannis and Dallas, but those was already shut down immediately. I did say something last time on Giannis going to Dallas, but that seems like that's a total shutdown because Dallas is all in for Cooper Flat. Even if um they're looking, no, it's not. Milwaukee's not doing the deal. Milwaukee's not doing the deal. So that's what it's all. This is NBA One Takes Pretty Boy Laker, and I'm out.